Embark on the JoJo journey, where laughter meets life, adventure unfolds, and the essence of who you are comes alive. I'm Javon Baker, and you're watching JoJo Talk. Let's talk about it. Transparency. Last week we touched on vulnerability, and I feel like transparency and vulnerability go hand in hand. So let's look at the definition per Google. Transparency. The quality of allowing light to pass through so that objects behind can be distinctly seen. Nope, that is not the version of transparency I want to talk about today. I want to talk about the version that Miss Melissa Don, CEO of Your Life, says. Transparency, not having anything to hide. Yeah, let's get down to that. She says, which is different from having things that should be kept private or confidential. Embrace all of yourself, your shadows, your light, and living as the person you are, your whole self in both personal and professional. I am very much one of those people that like to say I'm an open book, which is kind of transparency or being transparent. I'm not. Most of us say we're an open book, but you only allow certain people so close to you, which goes back to the vulnerability. But when you're being transparent and you're telling somebody the truth, nothing but the whole truth, so help me God, that's being transparent, but most of us are not. Most of us like to hide in the shadows and say, I'm going to give you a little bit, but not all of me. I'm going to tell you part of the story, but I'm going to leave out a couple of details. I remember that people be like, there's 3 parts to the truth. It is his version, my version, and the truth, which different in every single way. So today I want to touch on being completely open in your personal life and in your professional life. I want to talk about transparency in your personal life. Melissa says, embrace all yourself, your shadow, your light, living as the person that you are meant to be. So I was always told when you look in the mirror, you can lie to everybody else, but don't lie to yourself. So when you go to bed at night, are you actually being vulnerable enough to say, this is who I am, flaws and all? Or you continue to walk around every day looking in the mirror and saying, nope, I'm going to hide that. Nope, that blemish, that'll be covered up with makeup. Oh, I'm going to cover this up with another lie. Just over and over again, we make up excuses, we lie to ourselves, we put up this facade. I know that Instagram, once upon a time, I don't know if it still is because I'm trying to get back into social media. It was always like looking at models and looking at filters, and I'm guilty of using filters on my Snapchat, period. I don't know who does it. But I also know that as a Black, beautiful queen, I'm okay and I'm enough without filters. So you just have to tell yourself that you're enough. And that's what's important, believing in yourself and stepping out on faith and having the confidence to do something that you've never done before. In business and in your personal life, know the difference between being transparent and being overly honest or overly dramatic or jumping to conclusions based on what someone says or what someone does. Give yourself grace and have the, again, vulnerability to be open and honest with yourself. There is a difference in the workplace between minding your own business, meaning the monkey that's not your responsibility, and then being open and honest with the people around you, personal or professional. Are you being completely honest or not honest enough? Are you telling half the story when you're asked the direct question? For example, if someone was to ask me right now how many times it took to put this video together, I would tell them, just a couple. Or would I tell them, man, I think I stopped and started at least a dozen times before I got it to the point where I was comfortable with what I looked like. I was comfortable with what I sounded like, to the point that I tried to stand up and do it. Like there was a lot of different things that went into me actually creating this video. Or am I just gonna be like, it was a couple times, a little difficult. You're only telling people what you want to tell them. That is not being transparent. But on the other hand, if, like Miss Melissa said, there's some stuff that should be kept confidential and private, specifically in the workplace. If you are told a conversation by a coworker, I think they ask this question on job interviews. If there is gossip going on at work, do you run and tell everybody in the office? or do you keep that conversation private? Then you have to distinguish between, okay, is this person being harmed? Are they being sexual harassed? Do I need to take it to another level for their protection? Do I need to be transparent with my boss about how I feel in certain situations? Or will there be consequences and repercussions for me being transparent? Now, I'm not trying to be all up in your business, but let's keep it real. How many of y'all in your relationship say, hey, babe, I'm headed home? But forget to mention the part where there was a stop in between, whether you went and saw so and so. I'm not saying you was doing anything you weren't supposed to do. I'm just saying you didn't go straight home. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. That's between you and yourself. Subscribe to my YouTube channel so you never have to miss an episode of JoJo Talk. Like and share, and I welcome comments and the opportunity to have discussions. Follow me on Facebook at Javon Baker, Instagram at Javon_JoJo Talk, and even my TikTok at Javon Baker. I look forward to every opportunity I have to share my story and yours. So I asked a friend of mine what transparency meant to them. And they said, like a window. I said, okay, like a window. You could see through it to the other side, transparent. Okay, I said, can you go a little deeper? Okay, like water. Okay, elaborate for me. Said, water is transparent. It flows, and what you see is what you get. I said, okay, that's my closing. What you see is what you get. So if I could leave you with anything, it's being honest with yourself, fully transparent in your personal life and your professional life. Know your boundaries and know when you're being too honest and too open and when you're not being open enough. What you see is what you get. Have confidence in knowing who you are. Thank you for tuning in to JoJo Talk. And remember, not my monkey, not my circus. Life is already a circus. Not every monkey is your responsibility. Thanks for watching.